Welcome back to Martin-MadeTV. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video, where I'm going to be breaking down all of my goals for my home for 2021. You know, I want to get the goals out into the universe to increase the odds for success. So I'm going to take you with me and discuss all of the goals I have set up, why I've set them up, and how I kind of made it to this point so far. And I'm hoping that this will not only increase my chances for success through accountability, but also I'm hoping that I can inspire you to create your own home goals, or we can kind of compare notes to see what's the best tactics or what's the best approach at getting these home goals completed. Now, before I do get into all the home goals I have set for 2021, I do definitely need to acknowledge the home goals that I set up for 2020. I may not want to address them, I may want to forget about them, but I feel like the healthiest way to move forward is to address them and then keep it moving, then move it forward. There's actually a video I recorded all about my 2020 home goals, which I'll link up here in the cards. I can also put it down in the description if you want to go back and kind of check that out. I actually needed to do that myself because I wanted to see what got accomplished and what did not get accomplished. Because, you know, 2020 was very 2020. So at the start of the year, I was so motivated, I was emboldened, I was set ablaze, I was ready to forge ahead and ready to accomplish all of the goals I had set for my home at the start of the year. But of course, as is life, not everything worked out the way I had imagined it. I'm sure you can relate. But in that video, I talked about the goals that I had to finish some uncompleted projects around the house, goals I had to declutter spaces in my home, like lesser used spaces in my home. I also wanted to archive some sentimental, archive and display some sentimental items that I have around the house. And I really wanted to entertain more with friends and family. Right off the top, we know that entertaining more was kind of cut short, of course, because, you know, global pandemic and all. So entertaining more was not necessarily an option. So we can scratch that one off the list. I did get around to decluttering a lot of the spaces in my home. And I do feel like that was a great success. I did my medicine cabinet, I did my linen closet, my food pantry. So a few of those areas I was able to declutter and organize a bit better so that it would make those spaces more functional for us. We in the house also worked on clearing out a bunch of clutter from our basement. So all in all, I can say there were some successes that I'm very proud of. And even though I didn't necessarily get around to finishing some incomplete projects, I will admit that I did start some other projects around the house. One mainly being building out the gym in my basement. So, I mean, you could say that's pretty much why the basement was decluttered in the first place. But still, it was for the purpose of building out the home gym here because my gym closed down. So I needed some place to work out regularly. So that's what we did. We built that space up. I can actually do a video on that if you'd like. If so, let me know in the comments. But we built that space up to be a decently functioning gym right here at home. And I do feel like that was a great success because it's a better use of that space. In the past, I had made the specific area where we have the gym my office, but I can probably count on one hand the number of times I've actually worked from that office. So it definitely was not a great use of space. And what happened was we would kind of dump things there. So it became like a keeping room or a holding room for things that we didn't necessarily want to get around to at the moment, or things that we didn't know where to store for the time being. So it really was not used as an office. Now that space is much more functional, it's much better used, and it can be used by everyone in the household. So while 2020 did bring some negatives, I must admit there were also some positives that came out of it because there were lessons that I learned about myself, but especially about my home throughout the year of 2020. And that's what brings me to today. So probably the key lesson I've learned from 2020 as it relates to my home is the fact that I want my home to be my sanctuary. Point blank and period. My home should be someplace where I can come, relax, rewind, refresh, and renew. for use of all the re words. I know I've always said on this channel that we should focus on making our house the home we love, and that's absolutely true. I think 2020 has shown me that hands down, definitely. If I didn't know it before, now I know it, especially when you are forced, or I don't want to say forced, when you are relegated to living in your home day after day after day after day, and maybe not getting out as often as you are used to. So it's important to make sure the home has places where you can go for a sanctuary, where you can receive some kind of respite from the world. I don't know, make it a place that you actually love being. It's so true that so many people don't feel that way about their own homes. So I really want to capitalize on that in this coming year and tie that into my goals for my home. So with that at the top of mind, I really want to make my home the best experience for me. I want my home to be an experience. I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all. And so should you. Okay, so here are my goals as it relates to my home. The first and foremost thing that I want to do is to establish and stick to a cleaning schedule. Now, I will admit, I do not love cleaning at all. I don't necessarily hate it, but I don't love it. I love living in a very, very clean home, but I don't love cleaning. And I find that I need to kind of create a schedule for when things, or a rough outline for when certain rooms should be cleaned and how they should be cleaned. And I need to set up a schedule for those things that you might only do once a month that sometimes can be forgotten. Maybe deep cleaning the oven. We don't do that super often, but once you forget for a couple of weeks, then it piles up and it's a bigger mess than you really would have wanted to deal with from the beginning. So I want to create and establish a solid cleaning schedule that I can comfortably stick to. I will also say, knowing my personality, I don't necessarily like to stick to stringent deadlines for things like this. I don't know if that just paralyzes me. I don't know if I just automatically procrastinate just because there's a date involved. I don't know what it is. I mean, I'm pretty sure it has a lot to do with the fact that I don't love cleaning. But I do know that if I have a schedule and I'm not so hard on myself about sticking to that schedule, it'll get done. So I do really want to focus on that for this coming year. I've actually created some cleaning videos that I have about creating habits to keep your home clean all the time. I do 100% stick to those, and I still follow through with them myself. I'll link the video up here in the cards and down in the description for you if you want to check that one out. The next thing that's on my goals list, which really does tie into number one with establishing a cleaning routine, is to get back into chores. And I have 2 children in the home right now, and they both do have chores of their own, but admittedly, over the summer, like a summer break from school, I kind of let them take a few weeks off from doing chores, and that's what we did in summer of 2020, but we never picked back up. And by we, I mean me, because it's the parents who have to enforce the chores. I just didn't. I wasn't in the mood for it. I'm sure they weren't in the mood for it. Now we're into homeschooling virtually, and there's still a lot to adjust to, or just a newer way of life in general. So I want to figure out how to make our chore schedule or chore routine kind of flow well with our new way of life. And those chores per se are not just for the kids. I mean, I kind of have chores of my own. Aside from the cleaning schedule, I do like to, in the morning, do a quick clean or tidy of the house. And in the evenings, I like to make sure that the dishwasher is run, the sink is clear, the kitchen counters are wiped down and everything. And I have been slacking on that. So I need to get back to that. And in all honesty, when things are running according to schedule, that probably takes 10, maybe 15 minutes, if that. And then the morning cleanup is really non-existent after a while. So as long as I stay on top of my own personal chores, I think we can get this house flowing as a well-oiled machine again, and I won't have to clean as much, or I won't feel so overwhelmed when it's time to clean. Everything won't pile up and just be a disgusting mess where I feel like I need to take 10 to 12 hours in one day to clean everything, because that is not my life. I can't do that. All right, and just for good measure, I will throw in that same goal from 2020 to finish some home projects. there are still some unfinished areas and projects around the house that I really do want to focus on, and I'll throw it into 2021 as well, so that hopefully I can focus on those and get them completed. There's not really anything else I need to say about that. Pretty self-explanatory, but let's just hope that I can make it happen in 2021. And my fourth goal is to create more spaces within the home for relaxation and spaces to refresh, because we are home so much more. And this may continue well into 2021. I don't know. I know personally, I'm probably not going back to an office setting. I mean, before this all started, I worked from home primarily anyway, but now it seems I don't know if I'll be back in an office at all. So because we will be home a lot more often, I do feel like it's important to have those areas of escape within the same square footage that we have, but just to establish some areas of escape for every member of the household. And that really means making your bedroom a place where you feel like you can retreat, a place where you feel like you can get some energy or you can relax. Whatever you need to do, I want to make sure that we have places in the home to set that up. So that would be my bedroom. That would be each of my kids' bedrooms, my children's bedrooms, making it a place that is really conducive to them and everything that they love and want to do and want to be. That will make the personal spaces truly reflective of each family member's personality. It would really become their own mini sanctuary within the larger sanctuary I hope to create in our home. Another thing with that is really setting up places, like I said, not just bedrooms, but outside of that. Through 2020, I actually focused on setting up my coffee station. I mean, it seems like something small, but I feel like it's a large part of making me enjoy the day. So why not amp it up? I bought some nice coffee syrups. I make sure I invest in really good quality coffee. I made it pretty, which is probably first and foremost in my mind, but I made it a really enjoyable experience, and that was important to me. And the same can be said for experiences that I like to stick to, kind of like spa nights or a facial night. And this is not only for me, because my kids enjoy a good spa night. My husband enjoys a good facial as well. So just making sure that our home has places for these things to happen, or at least we are well stocked to make these regular parts of our days and parts of our lives. Okay, so those are my home goals for 2021. Again, I am motivated, I am emboldened, and I am set ablaze, and I'm ready to tackle and conquer these goals in 2021. And I will try my hardest to make sure I succeed. So now that you've heard mine, what are some of your goals for 2021? What are some of your home goals? Actually, I guess back that up. Let me know your home goals, but also if you have any personal goals that you're working towards in 2021, let's talk about them. I'm like all into goal planning and goal mapping and all that stuff. And with that said, if anyone is interested in the process that I go about establishing goals for myself outside of just my home, I would definitely love to make a video about that. I mean, obviously it's a topic that I find very interesting, and I think making a video about goal planning and goal setting would be really fun. So leave a comment down below if that's something you would like to see. And don't forget to check out the other videos I have linked above and down below. And most importantly, please don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and I'll see you in the next one.